Board meeting for February, and as we do not have a quorum this morning, due to some unexpected issues that came up with some of our members, we are going to have to defer the minutes. So anything that takes a motion will have to defer to next month. But we can go forward with public comment, and we can go forward with any reports that or anything in addition to the reports you provided. So I guess we'll start with any public comment.
We are particularly
introduce yourself.
John Rose with the NAACP Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. And just wanted to comment that we're particularly interested in the comment that the warden made last time, that you're seeking tablets for all of the residents, and hoping that that's successful.
Thank you.
And actually, I don't know whether you see this, but I would like to explain maybe after the meeting what we're talking about in relationship to the tablets.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a meeting after the meeting, but if you send me an email, maybe we can schedule something.
Oh, would you prefer that?
Yes, I won't have time today, but we could schedule
All
something.
right. I'll do that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. We'll move on then to reports of our departments. We can start with Warden.
Good morning. I have no changes. I do have to acknowledge last month when we talked about acknowledging staff for a job well done, I neglected to mention Corporal Brad Starry's name and Officer Harris's name. They were also part of that situation incident, and I wanted to include them in the acknowledgments for a job well done. Another item I'd like to add is we want to thank Correctional Officer Michelle Williams for a period of service for the Lebanon County Correctional Facility. She recently resigned. So on behalf of the Lebanon County Correctional Facility administration and staff, we'd like to thank Correctional Officer Michelle Williams for 25 years of service. CO Williams was hired as a part-time correctional officer December 12, 1996, and moved to a full-time officer on September 4th, 1997. CO Williams was always willing to help and be a team player whenever needed. Michelle performed her job with integrity, compassion, and care. She will be greatly missed by the institution. CO Williams was invited to attend today, but she declined. She had some other obligations. So we just wanted to say thank you for a job well done.
Thank you. That's very, very much appreciated.
Yes. And then
and ultimately she is retiring, but for expediency she had to resign to attend to some things, but she's going to exercise her retirement here shortly.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Yes. The other thing we wanted to acknowledge was Our Lady of the Cross School, a community school. They went around in the community and they were acknowledging different public services. They acknowledged fire departments, they acknowledged police departments, and then they stopped in for our staff, and they brought our staff some Valentines to thank them for all their hard work and their dedication to service, and they brought them some cookies and some treats that was much appreciated by the correctional staff.
Was that Jubilee, did you say? Or?
No, that was Our Lady of the Cross.
Oh.
It's the new and up and coming parochial Catholic school in the community that when Lebanon Catholic closed, they kind of privatized the Catholic school and are starting on their way.
Okay,
So,
well that was really nice. So the kids made the Valentines?
kids
or?
made some Valentines. They did these cute little cards that acknowledge, like, they're praying for their staff, they're thanking their staff and acknowledging them for their work and their dedication to the community.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yes. And the staff, again, it was a nice pick-me-up for our correctional officers.
Very good. Deputy Warden.
I have nothing further to add, Commissioners, unless there's any questions.
Deputy.
The only thing I want to mention is we recently held a COVID vaccine clinic last Thursday, which was the 10th, and we had 39 inmates either get the initial vaccine shot, their second shot, or their booster shot, and we had 2 staff members as well. If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, that's great.
How does that compare to the other attempts you've made?
I believe this was the second, maybe the third. We had the initial clinic in May, and we had a follow-up, and the numbers are all roughly about the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just experienced a high period. We talked about that, and maybe Tom can expand on that. The last month, January, was significantly painful because of most of the institution was quarantined because we just had an impactful COVID outbreak among staff, medical staff, and correctional staff. And Tom can speak to that.
Is it coming down?
I'm sorry?
Is it coming down?
Yes, it is coming down. Last month, we had a high of 85. That's pretty consistent with what we were seeing company-wide through our other 85 facilities. Just like the community, when we saw the Omicron come in, we were seeing spikes. Fortunately, working with administration, we were able to quarantine safely. That might be why we had the other vaccine clinic. So unfortunately, between positive cases, unfortunately due to the vaccine, we're almost approaching herd immunity within the facility. Had some discussions today about reopening some of the programs, but I've recommended to administration, and they took my recommendation to heart, that we wait another month or so to see how things are going, and then readdress it in the middle of March and see if it's appropriate at that time to allow some more activities within the facility and some visitation.
And can you review the mask wearing policy right now?
Everyone should be wearing a mask while they're in the facility. So we haven't changed on that. We did just push out more guidance. You should have all received emails from one of my partners today that CDC just came out with their third guidance, relaxing some of the quarantines. They're now acknowledging perhaps a 10-day would be sufficient. So we're adjusting our policy on a facility by facility basis as is needed due to the dynamics of the facility, but we're offering vaccines to everyone who comes in on intake. We are recommending that they remain masked while they're in the facility, social distancing, all of those, and we will continue to offer vaccines, and I believe our total now is we're already up to another 15 who are interested, so we'll be holding another mini clinic here in the near future. Also of note, when we came in as the vendor, one of the county's goal was to achieve accreditation from the National Commission on Correctional Healthcare. We're scheduled for our audit for that for March 1st and 2nd. It'll be too soon to give a final report to you at the next prison board, but I hope to give some preliminary news regarding how that audit went. Process is they'll send in a lead auditor who happens to be a nurse and a physician. They'll spend 2 days there. They will take a tour of the facility. They will speak with correctional officers if they're choosing. They'll speak with inmates, and of course our staff. They will go through and review charts, as well as conduct an inspection of the medical department, making sure that nothing is outdated, everything is appropriately safe. And the auditors then make a recommendation to the commission, who reviews the report and makes a determination as to granting accreditation. So we are very cautiously optimistic by summer that I can report that we have become fully accredited.
Thank you. Can you just give us 2 seconds on the highlights of the importance of that, this designation?
Yeah, the National Commission on Correctional Healthcare was a subcommittee of the American Medical Association. Back in the 70s, they recognized that correctional healthcare was almost its own specialty. So they've developed a set of standards in order to provide the highest quality care to patients, dealing with access to care, dealing with chronic care issues, mental health, suicide prevention, all of those type of things. And then they'll come in and see if our policies and the operation of our policies meet or exceed those standards. We are fortunate enough to have been named the Facility of the Year in one of our facilities in 2011 and Program of the Year in 2016. All of our facilities, it is work. Some of our counties don't want accreditation, but we operate all of our facilities consistent with those standards. It's easier from an operational standpoint if we have a consistent approach to the issues we run into. So I believe we have a couple of pregnant females in the facility right now. They'll interview those. They'll look at some high-risk patients and just do a spot check. It's similar to what JACO, you may have heard of, that will go into a hospital and do an accreditation, or like Blue Ribbons do for schools.
Very good, thank you.
Sure.
Anything else?
Just to educate, because sometimes when people hear the prison board, they come into the institution and they get frustrated because sometimes they do not see staff wearing masks. Our policy for our correctional staff and sergeant control is while they're in the control station, they do not wear masks. When they're amongst the inmates population, they are required to wear the mask. Deputy Warden Davis has a systematic, thorough approach with the incarcerated individuals in the blocks. She strategically goes and remasks them and still provides soap at their request.
Anything else?
No, I appreciate the updates. You know, it's a bouncing ball with COVID, and as long as there's no new variants, I'm hoping that this is the end. Knock on wood, right? Yeah.
I just don't want to prolong it, Tom, but when you say that you're approaching herd immunity, perhaps, it seems like that would be difficult with the turnover of the population.
Well,
I mean,
but now we're having a lot of people come in who were positive in the community,
Okay.
or testing positive on intake. So,
Okay.
you know, with the, if you think of your own personal experiences when this started,
Yep.
and say May of 2020, it'd be odd if you had a close family member or a friend who had COVID, you know, and now unfortunately when you hear multiple people from the same family, so and fortunately the vaccinations have certainly helped. I think people are, after relaxing some of the protocols back in last spring when we thought it was over, I think people now are recognizing, and when so many people in the facility see others get ill, even if it's very minor symptoms, they're more receptive to the vaccines now.
Very good, thank you. Anything from the floor? Hearing none, we can look for a motion to adjourn.
I don't think we can vote, but you can just adjourn.
We're just gonna end. The end.
There you go, there you go. Use
The
that,
end. Just like a movie.
that gavel.
Habits die hard, right? Adjourning.